Jill here with Sirius Dallas Moon Mercury Hour, and I want to talk about the semi-sextile between Mercury and Chiron, the pre-linguistic phase, and the type of harm that is ritual-based and affect infants and children in a way that as they try to form the language to describe things, people are mad at them because they were basically spiritually attacked, although they develop a lot of the symptoms, um, being the body mind as the unit called the human being. Um, and there's another facet is that ritual abuse has to do with all kinds of facets, and one of them is words. And there are attempts to make these infants manifest also the actions as they try to heal from basically the attacks towards them in the astral or in the etheric. And then they are blamed for not speaking the right words, or for speaking. And those things are an esoteric fault. And basically, it there are situations where, and even when the people speak, then the words are, they use the etheric field to harm them because, or even using the words because the frequency is such that since infanthood, the frequency around them was fractured at the pre-linguistic phase. And every time somebody speaks about it, they try to do those things again. And if they don't speak, they are harmed until they speak. And that is a situation that creates an all extinguishing type of flame until there is no suffering anymore, because attempting to purge that at the collective level, um, it's the children that there's nobody to speak for them, but the children whose speech is being accused all the time, although it's pretty fucking accurate. And each time a child like that speaks, they're being accused by somebody who has gone through something worse. Um, and um, well, that someone is basically being trafficked and calling it re-victimization or flashbacks. And when those are entire societies, those entire societies are expected to go extinct. Because that's the only calm and that's the only freedom of speech. And that's the only hope. Until they don't abolish ritual abuse, there's no point to talk about curating communication, because that's the wound in communication. And it pertains also to those who have Chiron with Mercury, Chiron in Gemini, and Chiron in Virgo, the speech factors. A little word for the people that are having Saturn in hard aspects to their moon, that would be Moon Aries, Moon Libra, Moon Capricorn, and Moon Jupiter. When we think about Saturn to Moon, it's the time where people hadn't acknowledged, for example, um, the wounds of emotional abuse, and Moon has to do a lot with speech because that's our upbringing. It's both the fact that people inevitably have wounds by words, and then they're being blamed for speaking up about their own wounds, and then other people say that they are wounded by somebody speaking about their wounds. And to go through an entire life like this, where everybody wants people to suffer even more, is no point for humanity to exist in this way. It seems like so much life needs to go extinct, so much of the living needs to go extinct, because even when people feel dead alive, if they try to speak, then people say, oh, you think you've been through that? Like, to whom is it helping? It's no wonder that the businesses of people are no longer, because they were doing that to one another until there was no, if there are no people, then of course there are no businesses.